What's up, everybody? It's Broman. It is episode 16 of Ask Broman. We're recording it on a wonderful Sunday evening, December 3rd. Hope you're all having a great time. If this is your first time tuning in the podcast, it's a fun podcast. We do a little bit Q&A. We do some dumb jokes, and that's the whole deal. That's it. That is it. I hope you guys are having a fantastic time. I certainly am. It's been a fun Sunday. We got everything ready for holiday time. Been doing a lot of work outside of the usual stuff to get ready for the holidays, getting ready to travel, all of those wonderful things. But for now, let's get right into the questions. And without further ado, let's get this guy. Let's see what Tarji Tart would like to know about and or ask. Because, of course, the only way to know is to ask. It's a very secret piece of knowledge that not a lot of people know. Like Tarji Tart might not know that what they need to do is they need to unmute their Discord channel so they can talk to
Hello?
you. Hi.
How are you doing? I'm doing good.
Wonderful, man. What can I do for you?
Okay, so I had a question so I'm kind of a big science math guy.
Oh, fun.
And I was wondering about, I was considering doing, content based on that.
Sure.
And I was wondering if you knew, or had any idea if, the Twitch community, because I knew they didn't have much to it, if they would be, if that would be something they'd be kind of interested or might go and watch.
Well, like Twitch specifically, or just making content that is centered around science and math?
Mainly Twitch specifically, because I've seen it done on YouTube and stuff, but I know Twitch doesn't really have a community for it right now.
Sure. Well, I think you got two options, right? So you want to make content. You want to make content surrounding and about math and science. So it's probably going to be educational. Yeah. Is that the focus?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one, it's not on Twitch, which means it's a great place for you to try. Okay. Anytime there's a market space for content and something isn't being created on that platform, it's a chance for you to attack it. Another place that you should put out your content, the same content, is you should really look into trying to do Facebook Watch. It is something I'm currently trying to do with all of my video content, but it's currently in a beta stage where they're forcibly selecting people. But if you're not, educational content's great on YouTube, but it's very saturated. YouTube is an incredibly saturated space, and so is Twitch. So while you may still have an opportunity to be successful on Twitch with all this, I think that you might have a greater chance at success on a place or in a place like Facebook Watch, because educational content doesn't seem to be traditionally consumed in long form unless you're in a classroom, and that's sort of what Twitch is. What sort of content? I'm really curious. What sort of content were you thinking about making?
Well, that's kind of what I was, kind of the big thing I was working on. Because right now, kind of the ideas I had would just be kind of being up in front of a camera and explaining stuff, or also there's a lot of programming and stuff where you could program science things that could then be ran to show kind of the concepts and ideas. So you could show the programming of that and then the idea being shown.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So do you have a timeline on how long that would take?
I do not right now.
From start to finish, the average length of a show? I mean, I like that a lot. If there's something you can do to be engaging with the audience over a set period of time, I think that's cool. One of the big, I don't know if I want to say catching points, but it's a unique thing about Twitch is that folks tend to take about an hour to an hour and a half to even tune in on Twitch to a channel that they fucking love to watch. So it would be a little bit weird to the medium of Twitch if you were just doing oh yeah, I just do 2-hour shows and people show up and then they leave, and you might miss out on a lot of your core audience there. But I think at the same time, if your point was to do it on Twitch so you had a live audience for interaction, and then you were redistributing it in other locations, I think that would be a huge net benefit for you, because you're building this skill of getting comfortable in front of a live audience while you're doing all this stuff and making mistakes and things not being perfect. which goes a long way, I think, in education, no matter how you're presenting it.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a lot of questions, so I'm just gonna follow. So, like, are you a scientist right now? Like, do you do science? Are you a teacher?
I'm in the process of getting a physics degree right now.
Okay, exciting. So you'd want to take some physics concepts, build them out in code, and then run models for people, and that'd be like the basic premise of your show.
Yeah, and it could kind of then show those ideas in a more visual way.
I see. Another thing that you can do, of course, is have you done any looking around on Twitch to see if there's anyone who's doing what you want to do? Or have you asked around?
I've looked around and I haven't seen much, and then I also went to like YouTube and looked at the live streams that are there, and there also wasn't much besides just like people replaying documentaries. Yeah. So like I was kind of looking at it as, you know, I'd be kind of like the first to do it, but that would be kind of a good and a bad thing at the same time.
I'm sure that there are some people that you can find, you know, that are doing this right now, and I think that it might take a little bit of legwork, but getting together to collaborate, because collaboration is just such a powerful tool when it comes to making content. I'd really recommend trying to track down the one or two other people that might be doing educational content on Twitch, because I know they're out there. They just probably aren't that exposed because they don't have, you know, there's not a lot of people looking for it. But if you were the person who got everyone together, there's this huge potential of building a network of educators on Twitch or anywhere that are, you know, interested in teaching in the long term in a live format. Also, are you aware of like other teaching websites like Lynda or I can't remember the other name right now?
I've heard of them, but I've never really researched into them very much.
Yeah. They're also a great place where you can put out content there that's educational. Some of them cost money, some of them don't. But before you, get started on Twitch, I think live streaming is great. And I think the more people that make attempts at making content on Twitch or anywhere is good, because it's going to get it to a better place faster. But make sure you do a little bit of research to find out what's already out there, so you kind of know what ground has been trod and what doesn't work. That's a huge thing. You can avoid a massive failure if you're like, oh, well, I really want to do this, and you see somebody try it live and you're like, oh God, that's horrible. I would never want to try and do that. And it can just sort of push you along, educate you in the ways of making content that connects with people in a meaningful way.
Okay, so just kind of looking at what works and what doesn't based on what other people have tried.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have your own spin on it, but I'm a huge believer in sourcing, not source. It's education. You need to educate yourself as to the best way that you can approach things. One of the things that happens a lot is that people assume that they have an idea that no one else has ever had. And sometimes they do. They legitimately have just a genius idea and no one's ever touched it. So they'll go out there and they'll start doing it. And then they'll find out, 6 months later, oh, someone else has been doing this for 5 years. And I could have been interfacing with them from the start. So you get, the jump on that 5 years of experience, so you can start at a higher level of quality. That's one of the reasons why I do this podcast, because if I can help somebody leapfrog over my first 2 shitty years of streaming, and just start, when I really had everything on during my 3rd year, when I really felt like I understood it, it helps everyone after me and anyone who was interested, and they get to start in a better place. I know that if there's any other educational broadcasters out there, they'd be dying to work with you, because it's got to be a small group.
Okay.
I wish that I had someone's name for you, but I don't.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of Twitch research, but not a ton, so I could definitely keep looking around for that.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure if you ask around in chat, they might have some suggestions. There's a lot of people here that would love to help you out. But for now, if people are wanting to learn about physics, where should they go check you out at?
So I have right now my Twitch and my YouTube are Tarje Tart, which is TARJE and then Tart.
TART.
And then Twitter is the Tarjay Tart.
Okay.
And that's where you can find me. But right now I'm not really putting out anything because we went through a recent move and we don't have the best internet, but I'm kind of planning out for once I do get better, kind of what I can do with that.
Sure. Another piece of advice, if you're waiting on live streaming, it doesn't mean you need to wait on making content. It's all like a universal skill, right? So if you learn how to make some solid YouTube videos, you're going to learn things like audio balancing and, editing, but that's not going to be applicable here. Video presentation, bit rates, recording rates, all that stuff. And you'll have that in your toolbox for when it's time for you to start broadcasting. So that way you don't have to start from absolute zero when things get going.
Yeah. Well, I've done some gaming stuff before, but I kind of didn't continue that. So I have an idea of how to do those things, but it's going to be kind of a completely different thing doing it within this aspect of it. Yeah,
for sure. It's incredibly interesting. It's not something that's on Twitch right now. I feel like since they pushed for Twitch creative, Twitch educational seems like something that would be on the radar. And I'm really curious to see if you and some other people couldn't get together and, you want to think really long term? Get together, start doing this, and then go make a pitch to them, in their office, because it is a style of content that is not heavily prevalent here, but would be beneficial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome, man. I really think that you've got the potential of an insanely great idea right now, and I don't know. I love new, and your idea is very new. So best of luck, my guy.
Thanks.
Anytime, dude. You have a great day.
You too.
Talking with him reminds me of the conversation we had with Grindhead Jim about content, like a content help desk you could call into, right? As content creation becomes a more and more common thing. It's something that everyone's doing now. Like even your grandma is more likely than not to have a YouTube channel, right? And because of that, everybody's doing it. Everyone's doing it. And so not only are you going to have people who are creating live content that is, need of assistance, like in a help desk standpoint, but you'll also have a growing differentiation because it won't have to be one thing to be successful. So growing outside of just gaming or just creative and adding things to it like education, which is huge. It's a huge dimension of content that people are really interested in. So many people use Khan Academy and other web learning services like that. And I know that Twitch would be absolutely interested in trying to leverage that in a way that made it fit on their platform. So his idea is really good. I just hope, I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go from there. It's really exciting though. Ooh, I'm all amped up now. All right, let's get this guy. This is Evil Aura, longtime viewer.
Hey, man.
Of the channel. Hi, Evil Aura. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Can you hear me?
I can hear you so good.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so good, dude.
So, love this. I love that you do this, dude. This is really amazing. It's become one of my favorite things on Twitch. I love it.
Oh, that I'm honored. Thank you.
So, we talk an awful lot about affiliates and partners, and a lot of people put partnership on a pedestal. Sure. And are almost afraid as an affiliate to reach out to partners. Or
okay.
How do you describe the barrier or lack thereof between the two versions of content creation?
Okay, cool. So quick up to date. If you're tuning in for the first time, you don't know what the fuck we're talking about. This podcast is streamed live on Twitch. Twitch has groups of content creators on the site. Starting with, your basic person who's just like, I want to stream. You're a streamer. Twitch gets interested in your content. You meet some goal milestones for them as far as concurrent viewers, which is the same viewers at the same time, and total followers and total amount of time broadcast. They'll give you affiliate status. Affiliate status unlocks some of the monetization native to Twitch on your channel. And then after you grow beyond that, you get the option of becoming a partner with even higher numbers, and a partner gets a whole lot of other things. You get a little verified tag. You get options to further monetize your channel based out of, the Twitch pool of things. And so that's what we're talking about. Quick history lesson. Affiliate status has only existed for a year, right?
If that.
It's been about a year or maybe a year inside of the last year. There used to only be one, like you either used to be a streamer on Twitch or you were a partnered streamer on Twitch, and there was no in between. So Twitch wanted to, for various reasons, introduce monetization, lower down, I guess, the totem pole of viewership, so that they could help people find their dreams. And of course, as a corporate, decision, it allows a larger base of their users to produce income for them. So usually this is like sociology 101, right? You have separate groups. And so people are going to traditionally stratify themselves as like, this is the person on top, this is the next person, and then this is the person on the bottom. So I can get an understanding of what your question is. Do you personally feel like there are like barriers there?
I don't, and I try to preach it as much as possible, but you still come across that, and this kind of coincides with like the smaller community, the larger community, the partner versus the affiliate, or maybe getting nervous when you're talking to, if you're a partner in an affiliate channel, they're starting to get a little bit nervous that you're even there, and it's like, for me, no, it never has been a thing, but been doing this a little bit longer than I feel like some other people may have been or have more experience with it, so maybe that has something to do with it too. Like for me,
yeah, no, like the core of all of this is to me, it's like networking. Like I don't give a shit personally how you rank on Twitch, because you're a human being, and I'm interested in talking to you because you're a human being. Like I don't give a shit if you think you're successful or not. I guess my encouragement is, yes, there are people who are going to treat you differently because of your status on Twitch or elsewhere in life. I'm pretty sure that what I'm about to say is pretty universal. But no matter how they treat you doesn't change your core level of value, whether it's as a human being or as a streamer. You are you have valuable assets. You have a unique perspective and a unique voice. You have a unique set of circumstances that happened universally to create you. Like there's so much about, your native humanity that gives you value, and other folks will try and act like it's not there or treat you differently because you're not as successful or handsome or name a goddamn thing. And at the end of the day, none of that's actually true. It's all
that was Layla clapping her head. She's fine. That was Layla. Okay. Clap their ears.
No, it's fine. At the end of the day, like you have value as a person because you're a person. And I see how some people could be treated differently, but I think that for all purposes involved, you should always just act like you're one person talking to another person, because that's how you get fair communication. And now he's quiet because it was so good.
I had to stop my dog. She's I'm sorry, I don't have a noise gate. She's kind of like making her bed and being all kind of crazy. No, like that's I feel like coming from your standpoint, I feel like it's something, my voice is only so far. Yours is infinitely larger, and I feel like if we start having this conversation from somebody coming from Professor Broman, I think more people are going to start to listen and understand that, like exactly what you said. Like we're just people. Like I'll run into you on the street. You're Professor Broman on the street. I'm Evil R on the street. We're just two dudes doing dude things. You know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely. Just making out and stuff.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time. No, I think that the other thing, and I'll take it one step further, is if you're getting uncomfortable when you're around people because you feel like there's this pressure, like, oh, like this person's a partner, so I have to talk to them, and I have to make a good impression, and I have to all this other shit because it's a networking opportunity. You just need to get that shit out of your head right away, because that's not going to help you. It's not going to help you relax. It's not going to help you be normal. I'm a huge fan of telling everybody that networking is just making friends. And the quicker you can get from the point where like, wow, this person's so important and oh God, this could make or break my whole career, blah, blah, blah. Like if you're constantly thinking like that, like, yeah, you're gonna be fucking stressed out and you might be resentful or name a thing. But the further you can get away from that, like the further you can get away from thinking that you have to put these lines down, the faster you're going to grow. Like whether we're talking about networking on Twitch or we're talking about going to college or making friends in real life, like the faster you can just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to be myself, and if people like me, great. If people hate me, no big deal. You can't let the way that some people treat you affect the way that you interact with everyone, that's a huge life lesson. Okay. Like that's a hard life lesson because we've all been treated really poorly by some people, but at the end of the day, we all need to get the fuck over it and live our best life. Cause that's the only, like, if you're into revenge, that's the only way you're going to get it. And if you're into just being happy, that's the only way you're going to get there.
I agree. I'm glad that I got to ask you that.
Oh man, anytime. You got any follow-up questions? Anything?
I do. I'm glad you asked. So here, this might be, if this is too long of an answer, you just let me know. So as you're progressing the partner, especially now with the achievement system,
sure,
you've got milestones to hit to get there.
Yeah.
And when I feel like a lot of people get so focused on partnership and then they get it, and now it's kind of like, well, shit, now what do I do? Mm-hmm. Like, I've got this goal I've been working hard so long towards. What's the next step? Because they're on Twitch, in terms of all of these achievements and whatnot, there's not anything written in stone. There's not anything on paper that you can like go after. And I don't think it should be viewership and subs, because that's a byproduct of creating great content. So,
sure.
Like, what do we do now?
Man. All right, we'll start in the shitty. We'll start in the shitty place, and then we'll get better. For some people, that moment that you get partnered, it might be a moment where you realize, like, well, fuck, I just got everything, and actually now I thought I was just going to make a bunch of money, and now I'm not, and this is actually really fucking hard, and oh shit, and guess what? If that's what you're thinking, it's time to quit. Because one of the things that happens when you lower the level of accessibility, or if you make a milestones easier to get, more people are going to be able to arrive at that milestone that, like, air quotes, don't really want it. And I don't mean that like if you're partnered, you didn't want it. I mean, like, you can think that you want it, and then you can get it, and then you can wake the fuck up and go, oh shit, this isn't what I expected, which is sort of what you're talking about right there. So in some ways you can end up feeling that way. And it's scary. It's really hard to feel like you need to redefine your goals. So if you've spent a crap ton of time on Twitch and you got partnered and you're just feeling like, you know what, I can't really see myself doing this long term. Like, it's all right. First of all, and I guess that's why this is shitty, it's all right to just say, you know what, that was fun, and move on. All right? Like, that's right. Okay. So that's the shitty thing. And I feel like I needed to say that because nobody out there is talking about quitting Twitch. And there are some people out there, and maybe if you're listening right now, or if you're listening to this in the future, sometimes we feel like we have to be given permission to quit something. So consider this your permission to quit. Like just because everyone else tells you that it's their fucking dream, okay, does not mean that it has to be your dream. And I know that's like crazy and super fucked up and wild, but it's true. Like, it is. I chased after some dreams in my life that were placed on me by other people, and I achieved them in a massive way, but they didn't make me happy. And that's when I knew that there was a problem. I knew that the motivation behind that was pleasing other people and not myself. And that's a whole nother conversation. So if you're on Twitch right now and it's been going really, really awesome, or if you're on YouTube and it's going awesome and like whatever, if you feel like you need to walk the fuck away from it, walk the fuck away. You will be happier as a human being if you walk away from someone else's dream, no matter what the fuck it is. You will be happier if you walk away from someone else's dream and go live your own than if you spend every single day living someone else's dream. Okay. So there is that particular aspect of all of this that I just felt like we needed to say. But happy time. If you get partnered and you're like, oh shit, what do I do? I find that this is a traditional problem that human beings, like we all have this problem with goal setting, right? My favorite quote from any streamer we ever talked about on Streaming 101 or talked with was with EdEUUt. And EdEUUt said, you know, if you look at Twitch as just the climb, you're going to go from 10 viewers to 100 viewers to 1,000 viewers to 10,000 viewers to 20,000 viewers to wishing you only had 1,000 viewers before, because it's never going to be perfect. It's always going to be a little bit more struggle depending on where you're at. The problems that you have as a viewer with 10 broadcasters will certainly go away if you had 1,000, but now you have a different set of problems because you have the I have 1,000 viewers problems, or the 20 or the 30 or the 40, whatever. That's one of the biggest things. So if you just got partnered and because of the lower requirements, that means that this is happening quicker. Okay. So if you're listening and you're not partnered yet, but you're chasing that down, please pay really close attention. One of the things you need to do is always be ready with your next goal. And I don't just mean that for your stream. I mean that for yourself personally. If you are chasing down a dream, you need to understand that you will have a life after it, and you need to be ready to live whatever that life is. And in a lot of ways, it's going to be really similar. Like, you're still going to wake up, you're still going to eat food, you're still going to breathe, you're still going to sleep. You might pay your bills differently if you go full time and it's going well for you. But other than that, a vast majority of your life is going to remain the same. Okay. So having goals and being ready for this change is incredibly important. So my advice to you is if you just got partnered and you feel lost, okay, take a minute, set a new goal, now go after that. I think that some of the best goal setting you can do can and should be not about numbers, because numbers are a byproduct. It should always be about quality and value. There are some insane stories out there about people who have incredible depth of community, and because of their incredible depth of community, no matter where they're making content, they have had some insane results. Like people on YouTube that have like 100,000 subs, but they make $500,000 a year off of that because, oh, you didn't know they're the only person making content for this one medical device that retails for a shit ton, and they use their YouTube channel as a sales point to educate people. And now the level of connection they have with anyone who's interested in buying this hyper specialized radiological equipment, they are the only person who's selling it because they're the only person that you can find. So that's one example of depth of impact. Always, if you are always focusing on how you can increase the value of one person who's watching you, if you can make their life better, if your goal setting is all about, interaction, getting to know more people who are tuning in every day, trying to decipher the things that people are finding fun and that they like doing on your channel. I think that you're always going to be able to progress down that line and feel satisfied while you're growing. Whereas if you're chasing a numbers game, it can start to feel incredibly empty. And I tell you that because I did that, because we all have. Absolutely. Get obsessed with how many followers you have, or how many subs you have, how many viewers you have, how many likes you get on Facebook or retweets that you get on Twitter, like whatever the fuck number you decide when you wake your ass up that morning and you're like, haha, this is what makes me valuable. It's all bullshit. what makes you valuable is, especially when you're making content, is the level of connection and the depth of community that you can create around your content. So to anybody out there who just got partnered, like, congratulations, your community is top notch. They're there for you and they helped you get there. They helped you pass the job interview. That's what that's what getting partnered on Twitch is. You pass the job interview. Congratulations. You have the option to make money here now. Now you actually have to do your job. And you need to turn around and you need to look at the people who helped you get there. And you need to think, how can I make better content every day for the people who are here right now? Not how can I make content for the people who aren't here so that they will find me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what are you going to say?
That got really heavy, but I mean, it's an incredibly, I mean, it's a complicated psychological situation, man.
One of the toughest out there, honestly.
I mean, yeah. You're asking about, you know? I mean, I think everyone has that problem when they reach their dream, is they're like, well, what now? So at the core of all that, if there was one takeaway you could take away from that huge rant, be ready for what happens after you achieve your dream. Be ready for what happens afterwards, and make sure that the dream you're chasing is your dream. There you go.
I love it. Thanks, good, man. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for asking those questions. Do you want to let everybody, now you do something special on your channel, if I recall correctly, yeah?
I stream with my dog.
Yeah. Yeah. You stream with your dog. Okay. Go ahead and shout yourself out and let everybody know what it is that you do and where they can find you.
My name is Evil Aura. You can find me at twitch.tv/3VIL_AURA. I stream with my pit bull. Her name is Layla. She's on the couch during the broadcast. She's amazing. The Twitch community has really, really taken a liking to her. So we like hard rock and we like pit bulls and we like giving dogs treats, and that's kind of what we do: video games and dogs.
One of the things you do is called gaming for pits, right?
Yeah. So
is that something you do all the time, or is it an event?
It was every month, but it was basically once a year. It's a charity event where we raise money for Villalobos Rescue Center, which is the largest pit bull rescue in the U.S. It's also the rescue with the TV show Pit Bulls and Parolees on Animal Planet. So we raised money for them. We're over $14,000 raised in 2 years, which, coming from where we came the first year and getting to where we were the second year is no small feat, man. We're talking about dogs and you're talking about pit bulls specifically. It can be a hard sell for a lot of people, and we do really, 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 really well with it. I'm pretty blown away. It's something that this all came from a night of drinking and getting mad that people think that they're bad dogs.
I think that is incredible, and I think that from the conversation that we just had, that is a beautiful example of something that creates a lot of value for you and the people who watch you and the content you create, because it has a focus that goes beyond just the stream. And I wanted you to talk about that because it's a very tangible goddamn example of what we were just talking about.
Part of the reason why I asked a lot of questions isn't so much for me, but I feel like I've had friends who fought that battle. Like that's been my identity as a channel, like, since I started. So there was no question about my direction, where I had gone, but I'd had so many conversations with our peers, our coworkers, whatever you want to call it, of kind of like losing their way along this path, because it's so accelerated. Like, a day is a week is a month is a year. Like, Twitch moves at a rocket speed, and it's kind of easy to get lost in all of that. So a lot of the reasons why I ask, it's more, you have such a large voice and you're such a pillar of inspiration. When you talk, people listen. So if I can get you talking about some of these things that my friends struggle with, they're guaranteed to at least hear that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I see your goal. One more thing, and you sort of brought it up, is things are so accelerated, and I guess that's why I wanted to bring it up, and I want to mention again before you leave, it's okay to quit. I know that's like the opposite of all the shit that I've been saying for forever, but like we brought up the idea of chasing after your dream. And listen, if you wake up one morning and you fucking realize that whatever the hell it is you're doing, if it's Twitch streaming, if it's whatever your job is, whatever the fuck it is, if you wake up one day, right, and you say, wow, I really, really don't like this, it is okay to move on. And I know it's hard. I guess this is like, I'm talking to myself a little bit because I know, like any good strategist, all things that start end. So I know eventually there's going to be a day where I hit stop broadcasting on Twitch for the last time in my life. Like, I know that that's happening. Eventually everything ends. Just make sure that if you're making a career move or if you're unhappy, it ends on your terms and not when you're forced out.
That's great.
You know, also, you know, but if it is your dream and you know it's your dream and it's your crystallized purpose, like everything else we've talked about, don't fucking let go of that ever. Yeah. Interesting counterpoints, man. It's because everybody's different. So you always got to have different perspectives. Thank you so much for coming on and for asking and for all of the really nice things that you said about me, mister.
I'm so evil, I know. All right, I'll let you go. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Evil. You have a good day.
Later, bud.
Bye. Holy crap. Yeah, we got heavy there really quick, guys. We got really heavy. I mean, there's a lot of dream chasing that goes on Twitch and in general when it comes to making it on Twitch or YouTube or anywhere. And it's hard, man. It's hard when you end up getting to live the dream. And then if you wake up one day and you're like, this isn't my dream. Shit. Time to go. It can be scary, but it's okay to walk away and it's okay to start over. You know, don't do it in a way it's going to fuck you up long term. But if you need to get out of a situation, start planning and then get out of that goddamn situation. All right, let's grab somebody else here. Let's grab this guy. This is Iron Forge Gaming. Hello, Iron Forge Gaming.
Hello, good sir.
Hi. Give me 1 second to turn you down. You're really loud. Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's all fine. Keep talking to me for a second.
Hello?
Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Now it's perfect. God, you sound so good. Yeah.
Thank you. Let's see. What was my question? All right. My question was, if someone wants to get into streaming, what advice would you give to them if they have either mental, physical, or emotional problems?
Sure. Do you have, I mean, that's a huge scope. Do you have a test case for me to analyze and we can sort of work through it?
I don't have any test cases besides myself.
Okay.
I kind of suffer from depression, bipolar.
Sure.
I think it's like ADHD or ADD, one of the two.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Well, I have attention deficit disorder as well. I got diagnosed when I was 8. Twitch is actually incredibly, this is the first thing I want to tell you. Twitch is actually incredibly helpful for me because one of the things that helped me organize my thoughts as a child, and it's something I still do as an adult, is called talk therapy, which is just basic. It's literally just word vomit, right? You're just constantly talking about your thoughts, and that helps you pull them out of your head and like look at them because your head's so busy that you can't process information in there anymore. So you have to kind of find some workarounds. You know, this also manifests itself in me not shutting the fuck up sometimes when I should really just shut the fuck up, or talking about the same thing over and over and over again to people who love me. And they're like, this is the 50th time you've said that. Can you just please stop? And I'm like, oh God, yeah, I need to calm down.
Yeah, I have that problem asking the same question over and over again.
Yeah, for sure. So my, I mean, it is difficult to look at starting streaming if you really feel like you're being held back by something else. So you can definitely, I mean, like if it's serious, I would recommend obviously like talking to your doctor about it. And we're talking like if it's really serious and all that other stuff, just so that they know, like, whether it's your psychologist or, you know, if you've got a physical disability, your physical therapy team, like whoever it is, so that they know what you're about to do and that they're ready to assist you if you need help. But I think that anybody can do anything. Like, there are so many wonderful broadcasters on Twitch that have a disability. Like one of my favorite broadcasters, and I don't know if he still broadcasts or not, but the Real Handy, which is, I think, is his tag, is he's like a double amputee, or maybe even a quadruple amputee. I can't remember. Now I feel like a douchebag. But he would play CSGO and beat ass, okay? And he doesn't have hands.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like, just straight up, like, doesn't. You know, in all ways, people would look at him and they'd say, well, this is a person who is incapable of so much. And not only is him coming on Twitch and broadcasting and just being absolutely incredible at CSGO, playing out of his mind better than I ever could. You know, that's an awesome statement about, you know, like, the way people think about disability. But it's also inspiring to anyone who has, you know, any sort of perceived shortcomings, because look, if this guy can do this, then I can fucking do this. So my advice to starting is, you know, if it's a situation where you feel like it could be dangerous for you long term, talk to your doctor about it or whatever. But if it's not, I would start doing it immediately.
Okay.
It's the same advice that I would give to anyone else. It's the same advice that I would give to anyone else is just get started. You don't know how it's going to affect you emotionally, physically, intellectually, until you actually get in there and do it. There's so much value in learning by doing. You know, we could sit here and have a philosophical debate or discussion about, like, the value of approaching streaming in certain ways, but the way that you are going to do it is going to be different than the approach that I would take. And the value that you may or may not get out of it is going to be entirely dependent on the kind of person you are. So my advice would be, if it's not dangerous for you for one reason or another, I would start doing it. You know, just start. Fire up your stream. Tell some of your friends that you're streaming. Try it out. See what happens. You never know. That's what I did.
Okay. Yeah, I can understand that.
And it turned out pretty well. Do you have any follow-ups to that?
When you first started streaming, what was the driving force behind the first game you decided to stream on?
Well, the first game I ever streamed was Borderlands 2, and it was pretty much all I streamed for 18 months after I started broadcasting, because my goal with that game, I did speedrunning. Have you ever watched AGDQ or SGDQ?
Yeah, a few times.
Yeah, I guess if you're out there listening, Awesome Games Done Quick or Summer Games Done Quick are charity marathons where people play video games super fast and they try and finish them as quickly as possible. It's a great time for a great cause. They raise money for Doctors Without Borders and the Prevent Cancer Foundation. They are fantastic. That's what initially got me interested in Twitch and started streaming. Was I loved Borderlands 2. There wasn't anyone speed running that game on Twitch. I decided to start doing that so that me and the rest of the guys that did the speed runs could all find a place to hang out together and root the game, so we could eventually get it into a big ass charity marathon. So that's what got me motivated. That was my driver from the first time I started up a stream on Twitch. Was I want to be on this charity marathon, and I want to raise money to help prevent cancer. You know, I realize that's like a really noble cause, and not everybody has to think that way. You could just be like, I want to do it because it's fucking fun, and that's fine. But you know, that's what got me started on day one.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think that answers my questions rather fairly.
All right, cool, man. You want to let everybody know where they can find you on the internets?
You could find me at twitch.tv/IronForgeGaming, mixer.com/IronForgeGaming. I just created a Facebook, so it's facebook.com/IronForgeGaming. And on Twitter at IronForgeGames.
I like that. I like that you're on Mixer, and I like that you're on Facebook as well. I think that that's a smart move. Mixer and especially Facebook, when it comes to Facebook, when it comes to live gaming content, is a desert. So it is definitely a great platform and a great location to experiment and cut your teeth.
I just started Facebook, so hopefully I can get some form of ball rolling off of that soon. You will probably be surprised. I have a high level of confidence.
Awesome, man. You have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Anytime, man. Talk to you later. What an awesome dude. What an awesome guy. Okay, where are we at? All right, we're 45 minutes in, so I think we have time for one, maybe two more. Let's get this guy. He's been poking me on Twitter for like a month. Poor dude's got so many questions, I'm sure. This is Smigglesworth.
Did you turn me down?
Yeah, you're all good.
All right. Yeah, McSmigglesworth. It's a goofy ass name, I know. Thanks for bringing me in, man. Appreciate that.
Anytime, dude.
Really got two questions for you. They're kind of interesting. Since I've been watching your stream, I started the Restream.io thing.
Yeah.
Stream to YouTube, Mixer, and Twitch all at the same time.
Sweet.
Kind of crazy, but trying to see which one kind of starts up or kind of gains most traction.
Which one starts moving faster, so you know where you should allocate your time. It's a smart move.
Right, but if someone gets affiliate status or gets that email, do you think it's a good idea to even accept that right away?
I don't believe that you should accept any contract right away, even if it's from Twitch. This is also me warning you against what I actually did, which was, oh yeah, I'm sure it's fine. Nobody would ever try and take advantage of me. I mean, the Twitch contract as it stands right now is very fair. But I would not sign it unless you are 100% positive that you want to make Twitch the home for your live content.
Okay.
Because the second that you are, and I mean, we could go off on a tangent about this. I think that one of the big reasons why Twitch rolled out affiliate status along with monetizing a larger part of their user base was probably to lock up every single rising broadcaster and lock them into Twitch with a contract so that they could not go and explore other live streaming platforms, which is fine. That's their prerogative. And honestly, it's some fucking genius business.
Right.
But if you have any interest at all in exploring the world outside of Twitch when it comes to live streaming content, you absolutely should wait to sign that.
Yeah, because it blocks you from streaming on other platforms, which also limits you from growing a channel or community outside of it. Or
it can. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I like Twitch. I'm kind of partial to Twitch because I just like the branding and where they've started out. And then you have other people that just come up behind them. But I mean, Mixer and YouTube's also big at the same time or growing as well. But YouTube's catching a lot of flack lately, so I don't know if I trust it. But
don't ever, don't just a sidebar. Don't ever count out YouTube. Okay. Don't count out YouTube. Don't count out Facebook. Everyone who has bet against either one of those long term has not done so successfully. So even though YouTube might be in a slump, it's Google and it's a huge revenue platform for them, and they will figure out how to shine that turd.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been trying to get in here on this stream for a while, work and then stream as well, so it's kind of hard for me to catch you. But one other thing is, whenever I see that you play music all the time through Spotify,
sure, yeah.
How do you get around the copyright issues when it comes to archiving the video and then saving that video to crop it into YouTube channels?
I mean, I do local recording, and I don't. I mean, if I'm going to record something and I have an intent of redistributing it, I always use copyright-free music. But okay. I like the gray area that Twitch, presents because I get to, share music that I love with everyone who watches my channel. And then it just gets muted afterwards. But whatever. I don't care. That's how I feel about that in particular.
Yeah, I like the idea of having like music and everything set to start a stream. Sometimes I do creative stuff. I'm in design school, so yeah. I try to stream on Adobe products every now and then, and it's kind of boring if there's no music behind it.
Yeah, there's also a whole host of copyright-free music that you can use. 99 Lives is great. They don't even have a bot that they put on Twitch to search through stuff, or not Twitch, YouTube. There are a whole lot of copyright-free musicians. Also, if you go on a place like SoundCloud, there are a lot of people who just want their music out there. And if you tag them in your content, that is all they are asking for is just, they want you to help distribute their content, and they are 100% okay with you using it as long as you give them attribution rights.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, that'll work because I try to do tutorial videos or thinking about doing tutorial videos.
Absolutely.
More rather. But okay, cool. That's really about the only 2 questions I've had, essentially.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much. And would you like to let these people know where they can find you on the intranet?
Yeah, Twitch and Mixer is at Mix Smigglesworth. It's kind of hard to say sometimes.
I'm going to need you to spell that for everybody on the podcast so I don't get a bunch of nasty messages.
Oh, man. MC SMIGGLES WORTH.
All right. Mix Swigglesworth.
Yeah, and then and everything else is kind of like at Mix Smigs on Twitter, YouTube,
at Mix
and everything
Smigs.
like that. Yeah.
Your name is fun to say.
Thanks.
It's really good. I like it, man. Well, thank you for the questions. They were great.
Not a problem, man.
I hope
thank you so much for pulling me in here.
Modicum of help.
Thanks, man. All right, you take care.
All right, take care. Have a good one. This guy over there, really great. Ooh, okay. We have time for one more, and I think this is going to be a good one. So this is Brickin' Nick.
Hello, Ben.
Hi, Mr. Nick. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. And yourself?
I'm doing wonderful.
Awesome.
Do you wanna tell everybody what you do first? And then you can ask your question, but I want everyone to know what you do.
I do creative Lego building on Twitch. So that just means taking Lego and building my own stuff out of it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's also done gigantic Lego builds at events and stuff. So
I have.
Don't let his really common explanation that seems to hide his true talent fool you. I think I took a look at all of his stuff. I think it's like absolutely incredible. So
thank you. I appreciate that.
Nick, what can I do for you, man?
So I wanted to ask you, I feel like I may be at a similar point that you were once at in your career.
Sure.
If I remember correctly from a previous broadcast, you had started off in the speedrunning community, correct?
Correct, yeah.
And I believe you had said it was a pretty small community at the time. And
when I originally got started, it was yes. Right about to explode.
Okay.
It's definitely much bigger now. I wouldn't say I got it on the ground floor, but I was pretty early.
Okay. So maybe what was the whole shift then for that whole community? Like what caused it to explode on Twitch?
For speedrunning? I mean, if I had to isolate factors, I would say one, they have 2 massive charity events that are the most viewed things on Twitch. Okay. So we're talking SGDQ, AGDQ, national and international press, pillar examples of gaming communities doing good in the world. So that's 1. 2, it's so many things is wrapped up into speedrunning. So it's like every video game you ever loved, whether it's current or on the fucking Atari, is represented in the speedrunning community, and during those big events, those get showcased. So it's also casting a massive net.
Yeah.
And then 3, it is an incredibly welcoming community. No matter who you are or what you think, or about your identity or where you're from or what you believe, the speedrunning community doesn't give a shit. It's one of the I know there's trolls, and I'm sure some people will disagree with me, but the speedrunning community is one of the most accepting communities I've ever been around on Twitch. Yeah, they have some bad apples, but they don't give a shit. If you want to dress up like Alvin the Chipmunk every single goddamn day, and you actually believe that you're Alvin the Chipmunk, if you're a great speedrunner, they'll be like, yeah, that's my boy Alvin. He's fucking killer at SM64. That's all they fucking care about. And there's something so pure and honest about that. And I think that is a huge draw for their community as well.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I really like that. So were the 2 big events that you talked about, the speed, Games Done Quick, were those, like, at some point those had to start?
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So Do you know like where their origins were and how those kind of came about? And
yeah, I mean they're
as big as they are.
I wasn't there for the beginning, but the first, I think the first GDQ event, I don't have my numbers right, so I won't say numbers. But the first GDQ event, Awesome Games Done Quick, was done in Maiku Yama's basement. Maiku Yama was, and I'm pretty sure still is, I don't know, the organizing director of Awesome Games Done Quick. It started off in his basement, and as the speedrunning community grew, the support for that event grew because they had more runners, they had more people. But yeah, I mean, it had humble beginning just like everything else. Before that, there was Speed Demos Archive, which is the forum, SDA, and people were on Speed Demos Archive posting like VHS recordings that had been digitized, and they would share it with each other for verification purposes. About all the speedruns they were doing even before that. I think SDA is over 10 years old now.
Wow.
Oh, and as one of my moderators who's a huge speedrunning fan and a longtime viewer of mine, at that point, it was Classic Games Done Quick. It wasn't Awesome Games Done Quick, which is a great point. Thank you. So that's how that got started. I learned that when I was out to have, I went out with Mike. Oh, God, I want to say after one of the PAX events, and we had a really long talk about how this question exactly and how he felt like what are some best practices for organizing a charity event, because I knew that one of the things that I wanted to get good at on Twitch because of what made me start was this whole concept of charity marathons and leveraging people's communities for a charitable cause, and that's where GuardianCon came from, and
which is amazing.
The charity marathon that we do for that, that is a direct result of a 3-hour conversation that I had with Maiku Yama over some really nice beers in Seattle.
Beautiful, I love that.
That conversation also inspired this podcast too. Yeah. A lot came out of that 3-hour conversation.
I know Gary V must have played a role in that too.
That as well, yeah. No, he said if you want to do a podcast and you don't know what the fuck you want to do, I don't know, just fucking do Q&A or something. It's really easy. So I was like, okay, well.
Yeah. And now you're doing it, and it's amazing.
Thanks, man.
All right. So then maybe if I can ask a follow-up question.
You can ask as many questions as you want. I feel like I've just been explaining things.
Sweet. I'm going to be here all day.
All right, sweet. We got time.
Okay, so now you know what I do, obviously, which is Lego building.
Yeah.
What do you think I could do, maybe along the lines of what you've talked about with like what the speedrunning community has done? What would your first ideas be to go, hey, you should be doing this?
My first ideas?
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear.
Okay,
or if you want, I can talk about.
No, it's fine. No, I have a lot. How close are you with Lego, the company?
Lego's a really interesting company when it comes to working with. They're very particular in terms of what kind of content they are willing to work with, in terms of licenses.
They're selectively supportive. Okay, that's all I needed to know.
Very selective.
All right, so fuck that. They're not going to be helpful.
That is
for
what I
what
said
you
about
want.
Lego, to be honest.
Okay, no, that's fine. Listen,
I love
if they're playing catch up with realizing how important what I'm going to start, influencers like yourself who use their product to create and have become and are going to become the face of their brand over the next decade, and will probably make or break Lego. They'll get there eventually, because once they wake up and realize that they're losing profit to someone else because they haven't, that'll change. But for now, how organized is your community?
Are we
building community? We'll say that. So, like, if you needed to reach out to the biggest Lego builder in the world on an individual level, would you be able to do that? Is there a forum for that?
There are. I would say the majority of the Lego community is actually on Flickr, which is frankly unfortunate because it's honestly an archaic platform.
It's an older platform. It's an older platform, yeah.
It is, yeah. And it's just like not as lively. I think in a lot of ways the Lego community exists through Lego conventions, which is something I love going to.
Sure.
And I love attending and getting to talk to people there. But it means that the community in a way is only active when those events are going on.
Gotcha.
So there is, obviously stuff going on in general, but it's just much lower in volume than when there's a convention and everybody's together.
I mean, that's cool too. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you could try to organize everybody onto a platform. I mean, you could make your own forum. Okay. Like you could have a place where everybody has to come, or it becomes the place. And I mean, honestly, outperforming Flickr as a social is probably not that hard to do. You could probably do it with a Facebook page. It would just be about using your influence to drive everybody into a singular place. And I think that if you had a story to tell, like, listen, the reason I want us to centralize is because we have a lot of power to do things together. And here is my idea.
Okay.
I mean, that's how I started getting people on board for the Guardian Con marathon. I was like, listen, I want to raise $500,000. We're going to do a week-long charity marathon. We're doing 4-hour blocks. I'd like you to do one of the blocks. And immediately the first response from people was like, oh my God, that's terrifying. And I was like, I mean, I was like, you don't need to be scared. Like, I'll be there and like, I'll help educate you as to what you need to do. I just need to have 4 hours of your time, on, this date. And they're like, well, do I need to leave the house? Well, I was like, no, I just need you to show up. That is all I need you to do. And I took it from there. And, I did all of my organizing on Twitter.
Okay.
All of it. Because people tend to be pretty responsive to Twitter DMs. And if not, I can just, ping them and be like, hey, listen, it's me, Broman. You want to talk? Yeah. I could get there. So even if you don't end up being able to push everyone to one place, if you make yourself the touch point for the event, it's going to be, I will not lie to you, it is going to be a mind melting amount of work and stress.
Okay. Yeah. So keep that
you're going to be managing. I don't know what your goal is, but for me last year, it was essentially micromanaging 100 different people's schedules, blocks, making sure they were showing up on time, all this stuff.
Yeah. I know what that's like a little bit because I have done an event that I ran last year that I'm going to be running again early next year.
Sweet.
That I definitely understand that. And I mean, yours is amplified by a million.
No. I mean, I just, as long as you are ready to be,
definitely.
Because here's the thing. And this is one of the lessons that I learned from Mike. And it is honestly the most true thing I can tell you. If you are anyone on the internet ever trying to organize a charity effort online, once you start, you are everyone's bitch. Like, you are the person in charge of everything, which means you serve everyone. If somebody's internet goes down, you're the person who needs to know how to pick up the slack. If somebody just decides they don't want to show the fuck up, you don't get to go pop off on Twitter and be like, this motherfucker hates kids. You have to calmly and collectedly go through your timeline and find somebody. You have to tweet like a nice tweet that's like, hey, so-and-so couldn't make it. We're trying to find a replacement. Bear with us, blah, blah, blah. And then you have, not only do you have to do that up front, you have to do damage control in the back. Hey, why didn't so-and-so shut up? Why didn't so-and-so show up? Aren't they a piece of shit? No, they just got busy. When in the whole time in your head, you might be thinking like, yeah, they're an absolute piece of shit. How the fuck didn't they show up? They didn't even tell me. But that doesn't matter because your pride and your ego have no place. Because all they will do is interfere with your ability to run the marathon, or whatever charity event you're organizing, and outperform it next year. Yeah.
Gotcha. So I would say then my first thought is because there's actually a couple Lego builders on Twitch. I'm not the only one, thankfully, and I'm so glad to have those other people to work on this stuff with. And it's been a weird thing that like we were like, okay, we have the brick building community, which was listed as a creative community. So it's kind of like official in a way. Yeah. And then it was like, but we don't really know where to direct people otherwise. So we're working on a group community Discord because that seems to be
community Discord's worked out really well. It's worked out really well for the Destiny community artists, which is how I got in contact with you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Chicken Fingers in the Rasputin Radio.
Yep.
Love that, man. I had a great time on their podcast a couple months ago. So I'm working on the Discord, and then I think that'll really, really help kind of centralize some things and be somewhere we can hopefully point people in the broader Lego community to. Because I know people in the Lego community that have their own little Discords going, mostly revolved around gaming, but they're at least familiar with the platform, which is a plus.
Yeah, I mean, it is absolutely I mean, it sounds like you got a good plan in place, and if you're willing to put in the legwork, I don't really see why it wouldn't work out. It just might take more time than you want, but it's worth it.
Definitely. Do I have any other questions? Any like, I don't know. So I'd like to actually tell you about something, that event that I ran earlier this year.
Yeah, I was curious about what your event was, for sure.
So it was called Battle of the Bricks. It's basically a live Lego building competition.
Fuck yeah. Okay, I'm in.
So I invited 8 builders from the actual Lego community. It was kind of my way of drawing some people in from the broader Lego community to Twitch.
Get smart. He knows what's going on.
And they competed 7 weeks, 8 builders. It was a bracket series.
7 weeks?
7 weeks of like episodes, but 7 episodes.
7 episodes. Sure.
Yeah, 7 episodes over 7 weeks. And so I sent them Lego sets to use to do creative building. And the way I incorporated Twitch was that they're kind of, the chat is like judge and jury. So they got to choose the theme for the night. They got to choose the theme from a pre-selected list. They got to choose any challenges that took place throughout the competition, and then they got to vote on the winners. And it was really good. I ran it from April through June. It was a lot of fun. And I thought it was a really great idea. So I put together a pitch, and I actually pitched it to Twitch Studios back in August, because it took a while to put something together I was really feeling good about. And then that I just never heard back. So now I'm like, I can't sit around and wait anymore. And actually, Aura was someone I've been talking to sometimes, and he was just like, you just need to get it going again. Don't sit around and wait.
I mean, just doing it is huge. Yeah. And finding a cadence for it that makes sense, not trying to do it every single week, but doing it, like, quarterly or twice a year or once a year.
Yeah.
Whatever you can emotionally handle and also still puts on a good show, I think is key.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it took me a while to realize that, like, I need to not rush it, but also just like make sure I keep doing it and don't just like sit here and go, I hope someone picks this up to like make this way better.
I mean, it definitely, it gets, you want to be real, like it gets really exhausting. Like, if you're trying to put together an event, you're working on a timeline of a year, and everyone else is going to experience your year's worth of work in a day or two.
Yeah.
And that can feel really isolating, but it's worth it.
It was. I remember it was so stressful. Actually, on the first day before I went live, like I had a little breakdown, because it was like I think I'd been working on it like really solidly for 3 months. I had actually just been like unemployed for that time. It primarily to focus on putting this all together, and that stress just like hit me like a wall before it happened. But it was also like the best like thing I've probably done on Twitch, and was like super duper rewarding. So I'm glad I put in that time and effort.
You gotta pay the cost to be the boss, man. You did it.
Indeed.
I like it, man. I'm really looking forward to it. I want to make myself a resource for you if you need to reach out, and if you ever just need someone to bounce an idea off of, if you need somebody to
that's amazing
to help refine an idea. I'm obviously a busy guy, but I do everything I can to be a sounding board if you need some help. So you just literally hit me up whenever you want. And if you've got dates for that and stuff as well, or
I will gladly share
whatever. I'd be happy to. So can you tell everybody, 1, where they can find you, and then 2, where they can find your event?
Yeah.
Or where they will be able to find your event.
Yep. So I am Brick in Nick. So that's BRICKIN Nick. On basically every platform: Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Flickr, everywhere. And my show is hosted on my channel, so it would also be there.
So the competition would be on your Twitch channel.
For now, I would love it to get big enough to require its own channel.
That'd be super neat. For sure. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it.
Being on here.
Thank you. Have a good day, dude.
You as well, Broman. You as well.
Right.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye. Guys, that's going to be it for today. And Ask Broman, a fantastic episode, if I may say so myself. Such good questions and so many awesome people today. If you're out there listening, if you're on Stitcher or iTunes or Google Play or Anchor or Podbean or TuneIn or Facebook or the anything. If you're on anything, YouTube, please leave a comment. Please rate the podcast. It would mean the world to me. I really appreciate the fact that you would give any of your time at all to listen. And if you would, rate the podcast or share it with somebody who you feel like needs it, that would mean the absolute world to me. Thank you so much for listening today, and I will catch you all next time. Peace.